For saying I'm second-guessing having a baby with my husband after he asked for a paternity test? With update, I, 26M, and my husband Alex, 27M, have been married for a year. Recently, I found out I was pregnant. This was not planned, however. Ever since we got married, we have not been using protection every time we got intimate, and I'm currently not on any birth control. My guess is that I'm only a few weeks along. I haven't seen a doctor yet. Anyway, I told him when he got back home from work yesterday. I personally was very happy about it because I've always wanted a mom. I was pretty sure I was all smiles when I told him, and I thought he would be too once he found out the news. Let me add that he's been neutral on having kids. My assumption was wrong. Immediately, he gets super upset and asks how in the hell this could happen. I explained to him that while it was sudden, we hadn't been using protection every time, so it wasn't that surprising. I thought he would have understood. For some reason, he didn't. After a few minutes of back and forth, he demanded a paternity test and told me there was no way it was his. I was hurt and insulted. Let me be very clear that I did not, and will never, cheat on my husband. I have also never given him any reason for him to be suspicious about me cheating on him either. I was so taken aback that he doubted my loyalty enough to ask for a paternity test. I told him I couldn't believe he was seriously asking me for that. He said that I wasn't helping my case, and that if I had nothing to hide, then I would take the test and prove my loyalty to him. I honestly can't remember all that I said, but I ended up saying something along the lines of if you're doubting me and my loyalty so much that you think I cheated on you and got pregnant with someone else's baby, then I denwidi wine one. I don't want to be tied to someone who clearly doesn't trust me. He blew up at me and accused me of cheating once again. It was a big argument and he said I was being shitty, dismissing his concerns, and saying that asking for a paternity test was valid. In the end, I agreed to the test. But said that I stood by my words. Had to highlight that because some people are saying that I didn't agree to it when I very much did. We haven't spoken since the argument and he's currently at work. I went to my friend for advice, and she said that while he was out of line for accusing me of cheating, I shouldn't have said that to him over one of his valid concerns, and that clearly had a reason to feel that way about the situation. I cannot fathom made him feel like I was cheating on him. I was just so hurt that he would insult me like that and accuse me of doing something so disgusting when I thought we were supposed to have trust in each other. But AITAH for saying what I did, edit. A lot of people are suggesting he got a secret vasectomy that failed, and that did cross my mind. During the argument, I did ask if he got a vasectomy or was infertile, and that's why the baby couldn't be his. But he dismissed that and continued saying it just couldn't be his without providing me a solid reason. So in that regard, I have really no idea what to say. Edit 2. I feel I should elaborate on the neutral about kids part. I told him while we were still just dating that no kids was a deal breaker for me. He said that was fine because his stance on it was that if we ever have kids, it's fine. If something happens and we don't, it's fine. I'm calling that neutral since I don't know what else to call it. So when I told him I was pregnant, I thought he would be fine with it like he said. But apparently he just changed his mind about that and didn't tell me. And also, I have no issues with men wanting paternity tests. I just had an issue with him blatantly accusing me of being a cheater with no solid proof to back it up along with it. Put your thoughts in the comments and consider subscribing for more stories. Like cutting off my family for cutting me out of the will. Hi there, will call me Karen. I was born to a mother in high school in the late 70s, and I've never known my biological father. When I was 2, my mom met my dad, who loved and raised me as his own. My dad's parents accepted me without hesitation, and from then on, I was theirs. My dad treated me like his own daughter, and we were very close. However, my relationship with my mom and my younger sister, who we'll call Satan, was much different. I'm a redhead and was overweight for much of my life, which made me a target for bullying from both my mom and Satan, who was the golden child. I found out that my dad wasn't my biological father in 6th grade when Satan told everyone at school. When I confronted my mom, she casually confirmed it, which devastated me. As we grew up, the dynamics worsened. My mom cheated on my dad and drained his inheritance, leading to their divorce when I was about 33. I cut off contact with Satan due to her toxicity, but remained close to my other siblings. My husband and I were actively involved in their lives and spent a lot of time with their kids. In November 2022, my dad was diagnosed with esophageal cancer and passed away in January 2023 at 64. His death was sudden and heartbreaking. Shortly after he passed, Satan coldly demanded that my baby brother and my husband return the bed and recliner my dad had died in to get her money back. He had just lost his bowels in that bed since he passed in the night. It was a shocking display of insensitivity. My grandparents had left a substantial inheritance, and Satan had been written out of my dad's will due to the problems she caused. But when my dad was dying, she appointed herself power of attorney and rewrote the will, cutting me out. As we cleaned out my dad's house, Satan watched me like a thief, dismissing my requests for keepsakes with, "We could get money for that." In a meeting with all the siblings, Satan informed me I had been cut out of the will. It wasn't about the money for me. It was the message that I didn't matter. My brothers promised to make things right, but it's been over a year and I've heard nothing. One brother even texted to say they'd spent all the money, leaving nothing for me. It feels like they've chosen money over family, making me feel like I don't belong. I'm heartbroken and miss my family, but I've cut them out of my life. Am I the asshole for doing so? I don't know if I'm justified, but the pain of being discarded is too much to bear. Context: when my grandparents, dad's parents, passed away because he was an only child, my parents got it all. My dad is amazing but had a TBI from getting hit by a bus when he was a child, so my mom handled all the money. So my dad let my mom take care of everything, and boy did she take care of it. She built a 14,000 home, quads, timeshares, and an affair apartment with her boyfriend. Then when they got divorced, she quietly paid off all her bills and purchased a home for her and her new husband out of the money that the big house brought in from the sale. That pissed us all off. The worst is that my mother gave my angel of a dad her affair furniture from her other house with her BF for his house. She purchased it for him and my mom got all the nice expensive furniture from the big house. All of us siblings had college funds that our grandparents would give us $10,000 for Christmas and birthdays to be put into our college funds. I have never seen one penny from it. All of my other siblings used theirs for school, weddings, etc. By the time my brother and I were ready for our college funds, they were gone too, not including the inheritance that was left over for my parents, which is what was in my dad's will. So I am happy that one of my brothers got something. However, this is the same brother that said, "We will make this right," and I got the text that there was nothing left for me, and they have cut off contact since. Also, my dad was an alcoholic the last years of his life because of the divorce. My sister is a nurse practitioner. When my dad was released home to hospice, he was on morphine. My sister, who is an RN, let him have his alcohol with his morphine. She said, "Let him be happy, he is dying anyway." This pissed me off. We may have had more time with him. My dad was not in his right mind. They had someone from our church come over and notarize some documents while my husband and I were there. I know that was not supposed to happen since he was on mind-altering drugs. He couldn't notarize anything. Didn't stop her. I know she knew that was illegal. So am I.